Good morning, ladies. I finally got my hubby to bring out all of my Christmas decorations yesterday, and as I was unpacking, I found this pretty little crocheted angel that I've used as my tree topper for many years. And I'm sure you've all seen these. They've been around forever, but I got to looking at this and I thought, why don't we shabby her up just a little bit and make her a little more modern looking. Um, I know I got this from my grandma. I'm not sure if she actually made it or not, but nonetheless, it came from grandma. So we are going to just shabby her up a little bit. And please excuse my voice because I sound like a frog. Um, been battling this crud off and on for, I don't know, forever. But at any rate, I've pulled out a few things and I want to get started. So, the first thing I thought about doing is if you can see, she has like just like it's like a braided crown right here. So, I pulled out some of these little bitty um, rosebuds that I want to make a ring around that braiding just to give her a little softer look, I think. So what I'm going to do is just clip off a bunch of these little buds. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need, so I'm just going to cut off a few. And if we need more, we'll cut more. You know how you pull out your decorations and you think, oh, those were pretty, but what if? And you just sort of start playing with them. Well, that's what I did. I kept staring at this and staring at this, and I got up this morning and I said, you need to shabby the angel. So here we are, shabbying the angel. So, oops, my cord is caught on my sleigh. I have like 3 sleighs here waiting to be prettied up. So I think I'm going to start right in the front, right here, just so that I can get the spacing on this right. And I'm just going to make it like a crown. See how I've put that on there? And just glue them all around. We may add some pearls and things of that nature on here. I just don't know yet. We might. We just might. You never know what's going to go on here. So I know I want to do something with her arms too. I haven't figured out yet what I want to do with that. But it'll be something. And I pulled out a bunch of laces and some feathers, some pearls, you know, all the typical shabby stuff. Oops. Okay. So there we go with that part. You see? Just making her a little crown. And now I'm going to do the other side. And I was thinking for her halo, I almost put that on there backwards, guys. Trying to do 2 things at once doesn't work well for me sometimes. I thought about glittering up her halo. Because I have some glitter, and I thought about just using some wet glue and glittering up her halo. It should be sparkly. I need a couple more. I don't know how y'all's weather is, but we were like 70 something yesterday, and today it's only supposed to be in the 40s with high winds. And I know Ruby was getting a blizzard yesterday. People in Minnesota, North Dakota, they're just getting hit by that winter stuff. So now I've got to complete this in the back. See, now this is kind of messy looking, but I have an idea to cover that up. So I'm not going to stress about that right now, but I'm just going to continue by adding a couple more. I'm not going to take it all the way around the back because this is going to be covered right here. Okay, so I think I've got enough of the rosebuds. Whoops, she's upside down on her little crown. And I'm looking at this, and can you guys see? Let me find an angle. Maybe right there. Right here on the top of where I put the rosebuds, I have some pearls that I think I'm just going to put right around there so that that braided trim doesn't show. So let's have a little play here and see how that looks. I have to do it this way so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, we're going to go for it. So I'm just going to start right back here in the back. Going to lift her wing a little bit. Just going to run a bead of glue and then just start gluing the pearls right on there. Thank goodness for the Sure Bonder detail glue gun, because boy would this be difficult without that tiny tip. Of course, you don't have to use hot glue. You could use whatever kind of adhesive, wet glue, whatever you wanted. I'm just giving this a little hold here. Anything to make her stick. So I'm continuing to glue right along that edge. And I'm sorry if I'm out of frame. I just want to make sure that I have it on there. I like the way that looks. So I'm just going to glue right up to that little messy part and then trim the excess off. Can you see? I think that's pretty. So let me just trim this off here. Yeah, I'm going to have to re-glue that one little spot where I cut it off, but that's okay. Alright, now where this is all messy right here, after I do the wings, I'm going to put a bow or something there so it won't show that stuff. And I am going to do her wings, but I'm going to do those last because I don't want them to get, you know, disturbed. So I think what I'm going to do now is try to work on her bodice right here. I don't want to completely take away the crochet aspects because that's beautiful, but I have pulled out some laces and stuff that I had in my stash. Oops, I just dropped my other flowers. I have some of this. Let's just see. Maybe we'll give her a little collar. We can just gather this up like that and just, yeah. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. We'll just give her a little collar. So, and we're going to have to add more pearls to that, of course. So let me just grab my needle and we'll just gather up a little bit of this. Oh, that's a big knot. Okay. Excuse me for sniffling. This is so hard to find the right and the wrong side. Well, doesn't matter because I can flip it around once I get it gathered. So I'm just going to make a locking stitch here. See how big that knot is? Don't know why I made such a big knot, but must have been in a hurry. Now last year I didn't even deal with putting up a Christmas tree because we were in the middle of a construction zone. And we still are, but I just decided, you know what? We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. I was sitting there this morning looking at my living room because it's still not complete, but I came up with some ideas to kind of hide the ugly. So that's what I'm going to be doing today and probably tomorrow, is trying to hide the ugly and set up some of my decorations, because many of you know I have an angel tree. That's what I do with my Christmas tree every year. Um, I have made several ornaments for my angels, and that's what I put on my tree every year. It's all white, silver, and I have some white and silver doves and some, decorations that are all white and silver, plus all of my angels. So I'm excited to get that up because I feel so safe and secure and happy when all of my angels are up. And I keep threatening every year I'm just going to leave it up because I love it. But it's just not practical. And because it is all white, um, I've got a snag in here somewhere. I don't want it to get dirty because this place is, it's horrible for dust. Not sure why I'm getting a snag here, but you know what? I'm just going to go with it because it'll be okay. I don't need that much for a collar, and I can cut all that off after I glue it, of course. So I'm just taking a little locking stitch, and there we go with the snags again. Okay, so I'm going to cut that off and just snip this off where I cut it. There we go. All right. Oh, well, that didn't work well, but we'll get it. We'll just glue it. That was an effort in futility if ever there was one. Okay, so we'll just do it this way. I'm going to try to start it back here, right underneath her crown. Where are my little tweezers? I was having trouble getting the word out there, guys. So I'm just going to gather this as I glue it. Since the other part didn't work well, I'm just using my tweezers to get down in there. These are marvelous. If you guys don't have the glue helpers, and these do come off, you can use them as regular tweezers if you want. But I have other tweezers, so I'm saving these for my gluing. So I'm just kind of tucking and gathering as I go. I need another glue stick. What do I do with it? No, I'll just get another one. Okay. So we're getting ready for our 25 days of Christmas with all of the gifts and tutorials that we're going to be doing. This is not one of those. I'm going to cut. No, wait till but I haven't done a tutorial in a minute, and I thought, well, since I'm using this on my tree, I could do that. So we're all busy getting ready. We have tons of wonderful projects to share with you guys. And I mean tons. And my friend Karen just got her webcam, and she's going to be able to do her tutorials too, because some of them are going to be recorded, some of them are going to be live, and that starts November 30th and will run up to, I believe, Christmas Eve. So there we have her little collar, and I already know that I want to add some pearls right here, so that's what we're going to do. I think I want to. I'm not sure, but I think. Yeah, we're going to go for it. We're just going to go for it. And there's some really odd angles for me to be able to show you what I'm doing. I'm just going to glue right around that edge that I just put on there with the lace, just to hide any uneven areas that might show, although it didn't really show too much. And this time I'm going to cut this off before I glue it. You only need a little bit. You could actually use probably some scraps from your stash if you happen to have one of these beautiful little angels. Here we go. Okay, see, now we have her crown and her little collar. And it kind of goes over top of her sleeves like that. I think that's cute. So now we're going to focus on the actual dress. And then, like I said, the wings will be the last thing that I do. So I've pulled out some, this is the stuff that I used on her bodice. And I think what I may do is just do this in layers with different laces. And I think I like this one on the bottom because it is scalloped. And you still, because it's lace, you can still see the crochet through it. So I'm just gonna start, where's my, I'll use the tweezers, that'll work. I'm just gonna run a dab of glue, or a line of glue, like so, and just start gathering this up. Boy, this glue is sticky. And the nice thing with this mat is you can glue right on it and it pops right off. So we're just gonna, I'm probably gonna need quite a bit of this. So rather than have you sit here and watch me glue lace, I will come back as soon as I have this done. So I'll see you in a minute. Hi ladies, back again. I gathered the lace and glued it onto the bottom of the angel. Now, I pulled out another beautiful lace that I had in my stash, and I know a friend sent this to me. So I decided that I was going to use this as the next layer because it'll still allow the crocheted lace to show through. And I just want it to cover, see, I just want it to cover that row right there. So what I'm going to do is glue this around here. And you have to be really careful, I found out, when you glue this on here, because it's going, you have to glue it right on like these little lines where the crochet is. And that's not a very big space. So You have to be careful if you're going to do this with one of them because glue hot. So what I'm going to do is start this. I want my seam in the back. So I'm just going to turn this sideways so I can see kind of what I'm doing and find the center. Right about there. So I'm just going to start gluing right along this line right here. Let me get my glue gun on the right side. So I'm just going to kind of start gluing right here. And then I'm just going to kind of, let me get my little spatula and hold this down. This part takes a little bit because, like I said, there's not a lot of area to attach your lace to. So I just want to kind of, I did gather this with the needle and thread so that I could adjust the fullness as I needed it. And that's kind of what I'm doing as I go along. I'm just playing with the fullness as I want it. So we're just going to glue this all the way around. I'm going to gather this up a little bit more because I'm trying to distribute that fullness throughout here. So I just kind of put it on and just glue it, tuck it. And I kind of like the combination of the ivories and the whites together because the angel is kind of ivory. So I wanted to combine the two. And I may have to go on the inside and kind of make sure that this is going to stick really well. So as you can see, that's what it's going to look like. It's really poofy and full. I just want to make sure I got enough to go around the way I'm doing this. I'm just adjusting the fullness, and then I'm just going to tack spots, and then I'll go back and glue the rest of it. May have to adjust this just a wee bit. There we go. Because I am going to put another layer on top of this, of course. Of course, of course. So what I'm going to do is just glue that right there in the back where they meet. I'll show you in just a second. I just want to make sure that I get this even. Okay, see, I just glued those two together in the back where they meet up, and now I can adjust the fullness the way that I want it on the front and on the sides and just finish gluing. Let me take a look at it this way. Okay, so now that I have that the way that I want it, I'm just going to just go around and glue and hold. Like so. I just want to make sure that this is on here really well. I think I got all of this, but just to be sure, you almost have to stand her on her head. There's a spot that needs to be just a wee bit better. Oops. Trying to stay in frame with this, guys. She's a little cumbersome to work with. So So I'm just gluing this on all the way around, and then we're going to put our next row on. And the last thing we'll have to do is her wings and her halo. And I'm having to kind of cut down a little bit on this one. There's a big hole there. Oops. So this is kind of a tedious part, but just because I want to make sure that it's all glued right. And I am going to take this edge here, and I'm just going to tack in the back just one spot right there, just so I don't have a gap where the two pieces come together. And then I'll do the same thing with the other side. Just put a little dab of glue right there and just hold that down for a second so that it looks seamless. Okay. All right, now we have that part of her done. You look pretty. Okay, now I have this trim, which is kind of elasticy, stretchy. Let's use that word because it works better for me. That I thought about putting right up under here, which I think I'm going to do because I like the way that that looks. And so you can still see the crochet, and then when the light from the Christmas lights hit this, it'll, you know, lighten it up, brighten it up, make it shiny maybe. So I'm just going to, again, start in the back, right on. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's like right here, it's almost like a little skirt. And that's right where I'm going underneath, is underneath this part right here. So let me get started with that. There we go. And I don't want to stretch this. So what I'm doing is just kind of tacking this like I did with the other row. I'm just going to tack it where the stitches meet, because it's kind of hard to glue in these areas without having a lot of surface to glue to. Okay. Now, I'm trying to get this so in an angle where you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm just gluing right up underneath that little edge right there. And I'm kind of gluing on both sides, if that makes sense, under the little edge and on the crochet on the skirt, the actual skirt part. Now I've got to go under her wings. Let me just get some glue here. Okay, and just going to cut this off right here, and then I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So I've brought it all the way back around to the back, and I'm just going to overlap it like so. Okay, so there we have, whoops, we have her next layer. And if some of the crochet part shows through, that's okay with me because, like I said in the beginning, I didn't want to completely redo this where you couldn't see the crochet. All right, so that was the reason for wanting to use kind of the sheer laces and stuff, so you can still see that when it's lit up. So now what I want to do is work on her crown, her halo, I mean. So what I've been thinking about, I've been playing around with some things. I have an applique that I thought about taking some of these pieces of the applique and just gluing it around on her halo, like so, which I think will work out really well. Let me just get this. Because see, I can take, once I glue this down, I can cut around this and cut off like the leaves from the applique. So I think that's what I'm going to do because I think that'll work out well. So let's give her a whirl. Let's just see what happens. I'm basically just gluing right on the crown, and I'm making sure that this is tucked up by her head and just glue hot because it seeps through like so. And I'm just gluing right on the edges of this halo to secure this. That way I can just turn it over and just trim off where it needs to be trimmed. If that makes any sense at all. In my head it does. Okay. See, I'm just gluing, kind of turning her upside down and just gluing. Okay. So now to start trimming. I don't know what happened to my camera there. It went a little wonky. I'm just going to start trimming right around her halo, like so. Trimming off all the excess that I don't need. And don't worry, these other pieces of this applique will get used, ladies. For sure they will. Okay, now I have to cut this part off. Now it's easier if I do it this way, because that way I can get a better view of what I'm cutting. So I've just got to trim this up just a little bit because the crochet is kind of scalloped. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm out of frame, guys. Okay, now what I'll do, you see I'm saving these pieces because we may do the same thing on the top, but what I want to do right now is just make sure that all of my edges are glued down well. So we just got to stand her on her head and tap it just to make sure that we don't have any loose edges that could get caught on anything. And this does have some sequins and pearls on it that I thought might just catch the reflection of the lights from the tree. Because I have all white lights. The whole tree is just kind of white and silver, which to me is angelic, pure. So there we have, let me flip her up, like, see there we have the applique, which does kind of, it covers up the crochet a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that on here because I just wanted to make that really pretty. And some of my beads fell off, but that's okay because I just saved these. Because on the appliques, they're just sewn on. And I just save them. So, let me see if I have a way to use the rest of this on the top of her halo. Maybe if I turn her upside down like that. Let's see. Let me have a look-see. Let me have a look-see. I can make it work. So we're going to go with it. Because I have another piece that I want to put on here as well. Oops, I need more glue. So again, just gluing on the top of the halo. Glue hot. I'm trying to do this where you guys can see what I'm doing as well. Okay, so I've got that piece on there. Just go ahead and cut this part off because I do need it. Okay, now I've got the other half of this. Huh. It'll work, guys, it'll work. See? Yes, it will. So I'm going to just be off camera just a second while I glue this because it's hard to do this upside down in the camera. So I'm just gluing the rest of that flower part on there, like so. Well, that kind of looks like a train, doesn't it? But no, we're not going there. Okay. I know I'm getting totally out of frame, guys, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. So again, just gluing this down. Now I have a couple of ideas, and I'll be right back, guys. Okay, ladies, sorry about that. I had to keep the pooch from barking. She is so loud. So now we have these layers like this. Oh my goodness. I had my glasses on top of my head and I need them to see with. So that's what we have so far. Now I found this little applique that I had. And I'm going to take this and glue it right here in the front just to add a little bit of interest. So let me turn her sideways so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to be tacking this right underneath her hand. There's a little tab right there. And then just very, very tiny amount of glue just to hold it on. Not gluing it everywhere. And then just right down here, and I know it's probably hard to see because it's all white, but I'm just tacking it like so. Okay? Now, I have this beautiful piece of bling, which to me kind of looks like a snowflake. Isn't that pretty? So I thought I would put this in her hands right here. Like so. Like she's holding a pretty snowflake. So, let me turn this around so you guys can see. And I'm just going to put a bunch of glue right here. And just kind of hold for a minute. And I'll have to go back, I'm sure, and, tack it in other places too. But for right now, I just want to adhere this to this spot. And the next thing we're going to do is work on her wings. Okay. Isn't that pretty? I like it. So now I have this beautiful it's kind of a furry trim that a friend of mine sent to me that we're going to be putting on the wings. So let me find the end. Here's an end. This will work. Okay, and this is so soft. It's almost like feathers, but it's stitched in the center. So I'm going to figure out how I want this. Do I want it this way? I'm just going to have to glue it in the center where it's stitched. Can you see that? I'm going to start gluing that right here at the, excuse me. Sorry, ladies. Okay. I'm just going to put a little dab of glue right there. And I'm just going to start with the very edge of this and use my little glue helper and tuck that back in there. And then what I'm going to do is take this stitched edge and I'm going to go right around the edge of the wings, like so. And you have to be very careful not to glue your feather part down, like so. I wish I knew where this trim was from, because I would so buy more. It is just gorgeous. Okay, can you see what I'm doing there? And I'm just going to continue to go around, and then I will go back and fill in the center. See how we're doing that? And I realized when I was going through my Christmas decorations yesterday that I've had a lot of these decorations for years. Some of them I've recently made, like my angel ornaments. But some of these, such as this, just need a bit of sprucing up. So I'll probably be doing a few more videos on that, just to give you guys some ideas on how you can, kind of spruce things up. And I'm sorry if I'm not really in camera, but I'm going around a corner here, and I want to make sure that I don't get all of the little feathers caught up. Trying to keep them free so they can fly. Fly, little feathers, fly. So that's what I have so far. And again, this is a bit of a tedious thing, but well worth the effort. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get rid of a little bit of this bulk that I have in my hand that I'm working with. So I'm going to cut this off so that I don't have so much to worry about getting stuck in the glue. There. So let me see if I can turn around this way and you guys can see better. So I'm just going along the edge of the wing with the center of the trim where it's stitched and just gluing it. And this might be the hardest part, getting in here, but we can do it. So there we have that wing so far, and I am going to go back in and fill this in, just pushing these feathers off to the side while I put another piece in here. So let me find the end that I just cut. Where did it go? Where did my end go? Which way did it go? Here it is. I found it. Okay, so again, I'm just going to go right here and just glue right in the center, like so, and take the center of my trim and glue it right on that glue that I just put on there. Okay, I'm going to cut that off right about there. And I'm just going to tuck it down in here where I've got a little bare spot. I'm trying to keep the feathers out of the way while I glue. See, there's her wings. Now, I may go back in here and add a bit more just for fullness. Let me just play with this for a second and see if I can do that. Yes, I can. So I still have a spot where there's a bit of the crochet showing, and I'm just going to move the feathers aside and just put a little bit of glue right here and add another piece. And just cut this off. And even if you cut it off a little bit too long, it's okay because you can just sort of tuck it in there. But I have to get my feathers out of the way before I do that because I'm trying to add fullness here. So if I glue down my feathers, it's going to kind of not work. See? Isn't that cute? Now, rather than have you sit here and watch me do this again, I will be back when I get, because I'm going to do both sides of the wings, okay? And you can see how tedious it is. So I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to finish this up and I will be right back. Okay, ladies, sorry about that. It took a little longer than I expected. That was a little fussy. But here are her wings, all feathered up. And I did the back as well. Now, while I was playing with this, I have another idea. But before I go any further, while I have the back here, I've made a piece to go on the back of her dress. And this is a applique that I took off of another project. And I just made a little bow and glued that to it. So that is going to go right up here underneath her halo. So I'm just gonna, let me turn this around sideways so that you can see what I'm doing. And I just put a big glop of glue right on the bow, like so. I'm just gonna hold that for a second. And then I'm just going to put just a line right here, like so, just so that it stays right here. I'm not going to glue any more than that because I want it to have movement. And there you have the back. Let me straighten those out a little bit. And they do come off the sides as well on the wings. So that's the back of her. And here is the front of her. And I'll show you my idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but where I did this crown, or her halo, I mean, I've got some unfinished edges right there, and you don't really like that. I thought about putting pearls, and I may still do that, but I thought maybe, just maybe, we could use the same feathers that we used on the wings. But I don't think that's going to work very well. No, it's going to be too much. Yeah, so that's a bad idea. We're not going to do that. So I think what I'll do, oh my goodness, I have feathers everywhere. I think I'll go with my original idea and just glue some pearls around the edges just to kind of finish that off a little bit. And I'm going to start right here, right on the edge, like so. And I'm just going to go around the edge of her halo just to finish it off just a little bit. And this is a little bit tricky too, just because I want it only on the edges. So I kind of have to go in small steps and let it dry before I move on. See how that finishes it off? And I have to keep fluffing my wings because I think they're so pretty. I absolutely love that trim. I'm going to have to go on a hunt for some of that trim. Now, when I said that I got this from a friend, I did. And that friend requested that I not reveal their name. So That's why I'm not giving a shout out to the person that sent this to me, because it was at their request that I not share the, the items that I received from her. So I just want to say, anyway, you know who you are, and thank you very much, because I absolutely adore everything that you sent to me. And I hope you see this and see that I am using it and respecting your right to privacy, even though I wanted to tell everybody. I'm being a good girl, and that's not easy sometimes. So just a little bit too much glue right there. Don't want my feathers sticking to it. Now I did have another piece of bling that I thought about putting on the top of the halo, but I'll show you in a minute what I mean. I think it sticks up too far. But now that we have all this other stuff on there, it may be okay. We'll just have to have a look-see. And there we have her pearls in place on her halo. Whoops. And we also have tons of glue strings, which I'll have to take my heat gun to. But there you can, let me do it this way. Maybe you can see it better. See, there's her halo, all complete with the applique and the pearls. Just straightening this out in the back. I do see I need to glue this down just a tad more in the back, because it's kind of flipping around. Just going to tuck it at the waist there. And that gives it kind of that bustle look. See how I kind of glued that down, because it was flopping around when I turned it. So I wanted to make sure that was secure. So there's that. Now let me show you the other piece that I had thought about for the top of her halo. It's bling, but I think it might be too big and it sticks up too far. This is the piece that I thought about putting on there. A piece of bling on her halo. And you know what? I actually don't mind that this, let me see if I can get this from another angle so you can see. See how that sticks up right there? And I thought I wouldn't like that, but you know, now that I look at it, I think I'm just going to go for it, because it kind of reminds me of a star. And when you think about, the Star of Bethlehem, wouldn't an angel have a star? Well, my angel does, so. And there we have the star on the top of her halo. So, ladies, that is my alteration of my crocheted Christmas tree topper. And we have shabbied her up and brought her into, just a little bit frillier, fluffier angel. And I hope you guys like her, because I absolutely love her. And this is the back of her. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I was going to try to do something with her arms, but again, I wanted to keep a little element of the crochet visible, so I left that plain. But if you have any, questions or anything like that, please leave them in the comment section below. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that it has inspired you to, take a look at the things you have and use some of the things that you have around the house, and just kind of give them a little update, give them a little shabbiness. So until the next video, ladies, please be kind to one another, love each other, support each other, pray for each other, and I love you all. And until the next time, God bless you. Bye-bye.